Okay, so I'll just like I'll start the video here pretty much, which is like okay, I started on this diagram kind of thing, and basically I more or less started it on 2-13. So I did like a recording on White Knuckle, and I already published the video. There's like 3 videos that I published, and I titled one of them Magical Thinking. So this feels to me like a sort of starting point in a very kind of linear way. And then like the next thing that I feel like I'm going to move to or do an upload of is 3D pottery, especially because there's like one video that I recorded in White Knuckle where I was like directly talking about how I'm just gonna do a video on 3D pottery or whatever. So I can do that. So yeah, this like nuclear fission looking pancake thing. Um, and then I'm actually gonna put this. I'm just gonna do like another arrow facing this way. And then put this here. And I'm not sure if I'm going to release the recording I did of this video. I'm not sure if I like the way I sounded in this video, so I might, if I do, I might do like a re-recording. Or I might like edit some parts or something. But this was like going to be my tentative title. It's like YN at a crossroad regarding pheromone trails VN. And I guess there'd be like 2. Oh, and then for whatever reason, like not for whatever reason, but there was definitely like this moment in the recording or in the game that was talking about like an ant being outcasted from the colony, so that immediately brought to mind like this ant image or whatever. And there were 2 endings in this game, so these are like my 2 basic endings. I'm not sure if everyone would agree with this sort of like binary, but I'm just going with it in a very basic way. And so this, you know what? I'm gonna put this one like here. And this game is called 1000. I'm probably not gonna release like the recording of this one because the audio is so incredibly scuffed. Like I didn't even realize it, but the game audio just completely drowned out my voice recording. So instead I might do like a mini review sort of, or commentary over the footage, like maybe mini review, even though I don't want to do reviews, maybe like mini commentary over footage. Maybe I think this would be better. And I'm probably going to release parts of this recording, or I'll do some like basic cuts and editing, because I think this one was kind of interesting. So I'm going to include this. And this one was basically about like a shut-in character, and then they summon like this angel robot demon boyfriend made furry creature thing. And then there's like 4 primary routes that were that are in development. I'm not sure if they're entirely finished, but I think they're close to being finished. But I played the Maid Cafe route because I was like rationalizing through all of the other ones, and it was either like McDonald's, Maid Cafe, I don't know, or some other one that I forgot. And work from home. And like all 3 of those options I've kind of already done before, like IRL. So the only one that I didn't do was like Maid Cafe or whatever. So that's just what I went with in this game out of interest. And yeah, there was some very interesting moments there, especially this. I think this was cool because this is Yuri-Chon 666 and this is Lesbian, and they have a very interesting dynamic or neat dynamic because there's like one line where Yuri-Chon was like, "I want to suck your blood and eat you alive and kill ourselves together," and then you will not believe Lesbian's reaction to that sentence afterwards. It may shock you. Um, but yeah, so that was that. And then, oh, and then I wanted to, and then I did like a small, like a little bit of recording of Armageddon, this game called Retro Cycles slash Armageddon, because like for whatever reason there was just like a lot of Trons. They used the word like Tron a lot in this visual novel, so it made me think of Armageddon. Um, I'll probably release like parts of the recording because it just wasn't that interesting. There were like there was like five minutes of things happening in that entire recording that I thought were kind of okay. So yeah, maybe it'll be like a little side thing. Um, but from here, in my opinion, things got a little bit cooler because I played another visual novel that I happen to really like, and this one I read before like a year or two ago, or like two years ago maybe, 2 or 3 years ago, and um, yeah, it left a lot of impact back then, and I would say it left as much or even more, not like maybe a little bit even more of an impact on the second reread, which is kind of rare for me. Like I don't often feel compelled to reread stuff, but this is one of the few titles that uh, is really compelling in almost all aspects for me. And the way that I describe it in its like most basic, crude way is like two know-it-all lesbians go on like wacky urban exploration adventures while also um, partaking in their DIY metaphysics science experiments under the radar of their university or college, um, and they also happen to have like impeccable music and aesthetic tastes, and also they have like every every correct and incorrect take on any like given like thing ever, like a cultural arts movement. So they're like incredibly annoying, but also incredibly endearing. And um, um, oh, and then so this feels like a recap. This almost feels like a recap episode or whatever. This is like an intermission. Um, yeah. Okay. So I'll use this image 10 like for now. Because I'll probably start with this recording as like a summary thing. Because I've done like a few others before, but I don't think they were that coherent, or I just didn't have much to say. But yeah, I'm just gonna record these as if they were like recap episodes or something like that. And yeah, so oh, and then there was like a segment there was like a particular screenshot in this game that I thought about so much, and I really like a lot, which is this one right here where it features like a broken pipe on a side of a building, and then I already I think I had talked about this in one of my recordings, so I'm not going to go over it again, but like it made me I just had a lot to say regarding this because it was cool. But like on a sort of side note, it reminded me of these two images, or these images that I saw randomly one day on Pinterest, and it's like these pipes in this hotel where somebody like painted over them, and I think it's a very decent and fun example of something that like blends functionality and ornament, and that's just like a basic sort of principle in, or like a principle or a thing that I like gravitate to, and I think a lot of people enjoy, and because it like, I feel like it sort of provides a little bit of flair and recognition to otherwise very everyday kind of mundane functional objects or facilities or apparatus within like a building or something. And I know some people would argue like, okay, like you don't need to like paint everything, or you don't need to like make everything pretty, like they're functional by nature and by definition, so they don't need like flowery ornament. But I don't know, have any of you seen like the Google pipe room or the data server rooms? They're color coded. They're definitely, they look almost like a play, like a wacky, they almost look like a McDonald's playground, if those even exist anymore. But yeah, anyway, these were cool. So I might do like a video or something, like a little talk on this, because apparently the McNinneman's hotels is sort of a thing that I just didn't know about. They're like a sort of wacky series of hotels, like a wacky hotel chain or something that is it, like the aesthetic is just kind of like this within the establishment, I believe. So yeah, that might like make for an interesting video or topic one day. I don't know. Basically, I played like, I just randomly decided to do, I knew nothing about this game. It's called The Freak Circus, but I saw some posts of it online, and like there's like some fan art. So it seemed like it's like one of those emergent kind of, I don't want to call it like reaction or clip farming sort of games, but um it does kind of have aspects like it, but I don't want to like reduce it to only that, because I think there are interesting parts in it that um that are neat to think about, especially in terms of, for me it was like, it made me consider the origins or the history of sideshows in more like recent centuries. And so I was just looking it up one day randomly online, and I found this book called Random Notes on the History of the Early American Circus. So I might go through, I only read one page, and I flipped to a completely random page 136, and it was on trained animals, and it was crazy because they were talking about these horses where, like, for example, this particular horse would, at the word of command, lay himself down and groan, apparently through extreme sickness and pain, after which he will rise and sit up like a lady's lapdog, then rise to his feet and make his manners to the ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I guess, sure. There was another trick horse called Corn Planter, who would girth his saddle, take it off his back, pick up handkerchiefs and gloves, and yeah, I mean, that's insane. There was another one called Conqueror, and there's a little bit of irony at play. Like, they were unrivaled for docility, sagacity, and instruction. When ordered, he will bring a handkerchief, gun, basket, chair, etc. And yeah, I mean, I, like, was this a thing? I don't know. But for whatever reason, this reminded me of the term like one trick pony. And so that's just what I have for now. Oh, also, I saw like a post, like an iceberg post one time about something. I don't even remember what. But but I remember seeing the words or the phrase the triple full card reading, and that's just what like I had in mind after reading the Freak Circus, because there are like three main like freak, well, okay, they go by different names. One of them goes by Harlequin, one of them goes by Jester, and one of them goes by Pyrot. So you're trying to like sort of riz them up, and like it just I was just reminded of the triple full card reading, and whatever that means, I'm not sure, but they feel sort of like analogous to this for whatever reason. So yeah, I was gonna put this here and have it be like a split or a branch sort of, but I feel like it doesn't really necessitate that. So I'm actually gonna put this here instead, because this is more accurate to like the sequence of events that happened in a more linear way. Which is like I played Tear Ripple, then for whatever reason I randomly decided to do a recording of the Freak Circus. Oh, I also didn't talk about this. This is a song that I was thinking about when after I played this game, because a family member would like randomly sing this song to me sometimes when I was younger, and I believe it's called like Sideshow by Blue Magic, and all in all, it is just a very like it's a very good song. And so yeah, next is this book that for whatever reason I just randomly decided to read, because I legitimately do not even remember how I got to this, but I remember seeing this book title like a few years ago, maybe like two or 3 years ago, and I kept it in the back of my mind, but yeah, I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna randomly start reading this because I feel like it. So there was like two other options, and I basically went with this one by this specific author because I was just reading the first page of each of the books, because there's like three different authors that all like wrote a book under this like almost same exact title, and out of the like three or four authors, this one just felt the most like in alignment with like what I'm looking for currently. And I feel like I can tell by the way it was like written in the first page, via like the preface. And like whereas the other two or three books written by different authors I felt took on a more flowery, poetic kind of language in the intro, this one felt so much more like as is, like present, or the impression of as isness, and kind of laying out the sort of I don't know, I feel like this one is just more like, okay, let's get down to business and talk about what probably happened, even though it very much acknowledges that it is with things like this where you're like trying to build a picture of what happened during something like the 13th century in this part of the world. There's just like some stuff that is going to be very difficult to recover or know, like definitely or definitively. So I like how it addresses that as well. And anyway, I'm having like a pretty good time with this book so far. Actually, a very good time. I like it a lot, and I feel like it's addressed sort of some other like things I've been ruminating on recently somehow in a very like roundabout way. So I like that. And then put bilingual language diary here. And this one was cool. I think there was also probably like two main routes in this one, and I just went with one of them. I didn't check the other one. But yeah, there was some neat sort of screens, and I like these two in particular. Kind of stuck with me. And this one was, what was this one about? This one was talking about, oh, it was about learning French, which I guess is why I kind of want to put it next to Saint Francis, because it just sounds like France, and this also sounds like a French author, sort of. And then this one I took a screenshot of because, oh, and then this, so like this screenshot of, or this page about wanting to learn a language but struggling with like motivation and learning style. I remember this video that I watched, or I got my algorithm recently, which involves this like software called Lute, I believe, and is pretty much just about it's like this thing where you can save or you can input your own definitions and tags and images and attach them to certain words that you maybe feel like you're trying to learn or have less of you don't have as much of a familiarity with, or immediate familiarity with. And it seems like it could be like a pretty decent way of learning a language via reading, perhaps, but I think in most cases, I think most people would still agree that you learn more effectively by speaking it and in practice from like a day-to-day usage. But I don't know if that's entirely accurate all the time, so anyway, I'm just keeping this here for now. And then this screenshot, or this slide or page, was regarding like the author's insecurity regarding their voice and how it sounds like nasal and nerdy sounding, which is like I can't relate to that. I don't know what they're talking about. But recently I've been trying to work on that, or I've been trying to like develop my voice a little bit more and my sort of style. And I think for me so far, speaking from like the belly / diaphragm and doing basic breathing techniques and vocal exercises help a little bit. Mostly I think speaking from the belly / diaphragm is probably what's helping the most. But yeah, there are probably like little other things here and there that I can try. Yeah, this is fine. So I'm gonna, oh yeah. I'm just gonna put like start. The basic starting point was roughly around here. And it's gonna move a little bit this way. So yeah, this is what I have so far in terms of like this I'm not sure if, I think I have to like release one more video of White Knuckle for this to make sense, because I was listening to one of the recordings today during downtime at work, and in one of the sections I was talking about how I wanted to start like a sort of diagram or map of like games or readings or just like miscellaneous stuff on the internet that I visit, and have it sort of be like a semi video journal / semi notes / like semi diagram kind of thing, where it feels like I'm exploring space in a way, and like different directions sort of. And so yeah, this is what I have so far. I hope this makes sense. I think it kind of makes sense, at least to me. Maybe I should, this is also, I might have to find a way to like compress this a little bit more, because it's just getting like a little bit laggy. I'm worrying about the file size. So yeah, this is what I have so far. Today this is where I'm like leaving off of for now. Today is a filler episode, and today is what, 2-20 some 5 4 2-24 at 33. 2-24. I don't need to include the time. That's okay. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop the recording there. Up, south, down. Okay, I'm gonna do 11 more clicks randomly, and whatever is like the last, whatever like the 11th one is, I'm just gonna like take a screenshot of it and go with it, or like put it on my like Paint document for reference for something, or I don't know. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, you are in a small room with a laptop on a table, a toilet in the corner, and a worn mattress. There are exits. Okay, I mean this one is pretty straightforward, but I'll just take a screenshot of this and include it in my, oh, not this one. Yeah, okay, because I remember in White Knuckle there's a room in like the Delta Labs here where, oh, there is a computer and there's just like a mattress there. This is literally all a person needs. Well, and there's also a radio, I guess, but yeah, this whatever random like screen that I, because I'm guessing that this is what this is like a randomizer, sort of like room generator or environment generator. And yeah, so I'm just like, okay, let me just click a random number of times, sort of, and this is the one I ended up with, and it just very immediately reminds me of this room in White Knuckle.